Welcome to Healing Powers TV. I'm your host, Laura Powers, and I'm pleased today to have Sarah Anderson, Communication at the Regional Air Quality Council, or the RAC for short. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So I asked Sarah to come on the show to talk about air quality and some common air hazards that a lot of people don't know about, and also to discuss what everyone can do to try and help with air quality locally and globally. So I wonder if you could just start out with talking about air quality in general and hazards that people aren't aware of.
Sure. So in Colorado, we kind of split air quality into two seasons, and it just kind of occurred that way because we have different problems air quality-wise throughout the year. So in the summertime, that's actually our biggest problem. It's called ground level ozone pollution. It's created when everyday items, so emissions from your vehicle, lawn equipment, paint stains and solvents kind of combine under heat and sunlight, and they actually cook to create ozone pollution. So it's VOCs and NOx mixing together in the atmosphere, cooking under heat and sunlight, and then it creates kind of this air pollutant called ozone. And it's dangerous to human health. It's actually harmful to all of us, but especially the young and the elderly can really suffer, and those with asthma, pre-existing conditions, which actually Colorado has among the highest asthma rates in the country. So it's especially concerning for us here. In the wintertime, the big concern is particulate matter, or PM. That is actually what creates the brown cloud that so many people talk about, and inversions. But we're actually in compliance for all federal standards for PM, so ozone is really what we focus on.
I think it's so fascinating because you think ozone, oh, that's good, you know, we don't want to deplete the ozone layer, but then when it's in the wrong place, meaning at ground level, then it's hazardous, so it's just a little bit counterintuitive.
And I hear that a lot. A lot of people are like, ozone, wait, I thought that was good for me.
Yeah.
And it is up in the upper atmosphere, but down at ground level, like you said, when it's man-made, it's more harmful. But we want it up in the atmosphere because it protects us from UV rays from the sun.
Right. What are some of the specific ways that ozone at ground level can be harmful? Like, what does it do to a person or an animal as opposed to it?
Well, it's a fairly new pollutant. We didn't start really recording it until the 1970s, and so I think a lot of what we know is still in process. We're still learning a lot about ozone. But like I mentioned, for people who suffer from asthma or COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, people who have those types of conditions can really experience attacks or increased symptoms. For you or I, regular person during the summertime, you might have eye irritation or shortness of breath, things that you might, kind of take pause at, but it is actually affecting your lungs.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know, because I knew it was bad, but I didn't know what it actually would do to you if you inhaled it. Okay. One of the things I heard, which I thought was just so terrible, is that a lot of air purifiers are actually harmful by creating ozone at ground level or in other ways. So how do you know what is a good air purifier that's actually purifying the air versus one that may be harmful?
Yeah, that's a really interesting topic because air purifiers, of course, are sold to people who might have a lung infection, a lung disease such as asthma, or an elderly person or somebody with a new baby at home, which, again, ozone is most harmful to those groups. But any air purifier that actually creates ozone, so sometimes these are called ozonators, but anything that says it creates ozone, or O3 is actually how it's kind of annotated, it's harmful because it's actually creating ozone, blowing it throughout your house, and creating air pollution basically inside your home. So, and a lot of these are sold in kind of higher end stores because it puts off a scent, and people think, oh, well, that's a really refreshing scent, and that's something that I should be breathing in and purifying, and you're actually breathing in air pollution in your own house. So otherwise most air purifiers should do the trick, but anything that's actually creating ozone is probably not good.
Okay, so just look for the term ozonator or generates O3 and just stay away from anything like that. Okay, yeah, that's terrible. And again, not to trust just because it smells good that that it's good for you. I mean, that's true about a lot of different things, but yeah, really interesting. So in terms of the bigger picture with the world, what is a simple thing that people can do to help air quality here in Colorado and then just all over?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things is decreasing driving, and I know that's kind of a taboo for a lot of people as Americans. We're very attached to our vehicles, and in Colorado especially. But being able to get out of your car, taking a bicycle or an alternative mode of transportation is a big one, if you can. Also around your yard, lawn equipment puts off about 10% of ground level ozone precursor emissions here in the Colorado area, which seems like when you compare it with big things like, large industrial sites, vehicles, all of these things, 10% is a pretty big number. So if you can switch to a lower polluting lawnmower, either electric or battery operated, or just even mowing in the evening, because ozone is created, like I mentioned, in the heat of the day under heat and sunlight. So if you can mow in the evening and those emissions are coming out, in the evening, then it doesn't have as much of a chance to cook into ozone pollution.
That's staggering. I would have never guessed that 10% comes from that kind of equipment.
Right.
It's wow. Okay, so electric is a better option to help prevent that.
Electric, yeah.
Okay.
And actually, it's interesting. I think a lot of people, when they think about air pollution, it's so easy to say, oh, well, it's somebody else, and the big polluters are the ones that really need to take action. But here in the metro area, 55% of our ozone precursor emissions are caused by things everyday people do. So it's a combination of things: driving, personal products, some hairsprays and lipsticks. Sorry, ladies. Yeah.
Really? How does lipstick create ozone?
It's really minimal, but when you add it all up, it's 55%. So those are all things that we can all do. But the big one is really trying to, if you can just make one trip a week that is not in your vehicle. So take the bus or the light rail or your bicycle. Just one day a week will make a big difference.
And you said precursor. What is, so just for people who are not aware of the term, what does that mean?
So that is either a VOC or NOx pollution. So they're kind of these two pollutants that have to mix together and combine to create ozone.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
So I understand that the Regional Air Quality Council does have some programs that can help specifically reduce some of these in the Colorado, Denver metro area. What are some of those programs?
So we have a program called Mow Down Pollution that we're going to be running soon. I'm hoping to nail down all the details soon, but May 7th will actually be the exchange event. So this event we do it every year. People really like it. What we do is we ask people to bring in their old gasoline-powered lawn equipment, and then they exchange that for a pretty big discount on a rechargeable lawnmower. And the vendor we've been working with is Newton, and their website is newtonpower.com, and Newton is Neuton power.com. And they have two models available, as well as a reel mower, which is a lot of people have small enough yards that you can just use a little reel push mower.
Yeah. No emissions at all.
No emissions, yeah, zero. So if you can do that, that's great, and it's good exercise. So we will be starting to offer that here soon. Anybody can purchase the mower at a discounted price. You get an additional discount on top of the already great price if you can bring in an old gasoline mower.
Great, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Is there anything else you wanted to tell our viewers before we finish for today?
Sure. One of the things that we're really trying to do is build a clean air community. So people that are interested in air quality and helping us be a greener community, and we offer you to join us on our website, which is Ozone Aware, which is OZONE aware.org, and we have a little pledge there that people can just go and pledge to commit to clean air.
That's great, and I love that it's a community project. If anyone wants to get a hold of you or has any questions, how can they connect?
The best way is probably through the website, but my direct line is 303-629-5450, and I'm extension 220. Anybody can call, ask questions, or my web address is sanderson@raqc.org.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Healing Powers.